Somehow, the year is already coming to a close, so today is going to be a little recap on the art supplies that I've been using the most over the course of the last year. This video is only going to be the art supplies I use most often and wholeheartedly recommend. A couple of them are ones that I incorporated into my practice this year, but if it's in this video, it means I love it, I use it all the time, and it's a go-to favorite art supply of mine. And yeah, let's jump right in. Starting right off with paints and palettes. I have one main studio palette. It's from Mijello and it's 18 pans. It's inexpensive and reliable. I like that it has these slanted wells instead of the traditional pans or half pans because I'm less likely to ruin my brushes trying to get the paint out. And it's easy enough to switch the colors around if you need to. You just use one of these to scoop them out. So it doesn't bother me that I can't just pull out a pan and move it around. I have added a few extra pans here along the side just by sticking them down. So these are often how I test out new colors with the rest of the palette. The paints in here are mostly Daniel Smith along with some Da Vinci colors, Sennelier, M. Graham. There's a Schmincke one here, but I don't use it that much. A Roman Schmal, but for the most part, Daniel Smith. I'll link the palette that I've been using this year below. I'm a creature of habit, so I don't usually make a ton of changes to it at once. I'm pretty attached to my go-to colors, so I go over why I like each one of them in my palette video, but I'm not going to do that here. Other than that, I have this plain white plate that I got at TJ Maxx that I use as an extra mixing space or if I need to squeeze out just a little bit of a tube of paint. For my travel palette, I am most often using this Meeden 12 half pan palette, which I then stuck extra pans into. These colors are similar to the ones in my studio palette, not quite the same. This palette works great. I like this extra mixing space thing here, and it folds up nice and small. Next, moving on to paper and sketchbooks. I definitely invest in my paper. I tend to go for 100% cotton cold press whenever I can. I found I don't enjoy the painting process when the paper is not nice, so that's where I tend to really put my money. This first sketchbook is probably my favorite new addition to my supplies this year, and I've really been loving it. It's this square Illo sketchbook. It's 100% cotton, cold press paper, 300 GSM. It's been wonderful for my urban sketching trips. It's larger than the urban sketching sketchbooks that I've used in the past, but I found that I like the bigger size. It's been really lovely to work in. The paper has a nice texture to it, but it also works really well with my ink pen. So the two of them work pretty well together, and it's been really fun to work in. It can handle, lots of layers. It can handle a good amount of water. It's just been really lovely. I did have this spine sort of cracking situation, but it hasn't really bothered me that much. And also that's probably more like my fault for being a little bit, not rough with it, but probably less careful than I should have been. So I also really am liking the square format. This is the first time I've used a square sketchbook, and I would definitely go for these in the future, I think. My other go-to sketchbook is probably not a surprise. It's the Etchr Perfect sketchbook. Again, 100% cotton, 300 GSM cold press paper, just like the Illo one. And it's just lovely paper to work on. I just finished this one this fall, so that sketchbook tour is up if you want to check out how I tend to work in here. The paper is thick and it handles the water really well. The texture is really nice. I would say that this one is a little bit more textured than the Illo sketchbook, but it still works really well with, again, the ink pen. I think that Etchr uses Fabriano Artistico paper, in case you've tried that separately but haven't tried in Etchr sketchbook, so that's the kind of paper that's in here. They also have a slightly less expensive Etchr Everyday sketchbook, which is still 100% cotton but a little bit thinner. I think those are great sketchbooks as well, but I do prefer the thicker paper size. Alongside these sketchbooks, I am always using these hollow binder clips. I think they are super cute and they keep the paper secure without leaving a dent behind. They hold a good amount of paper in them. If you do have a soft sketchbook cover like this one, they will dent the cover of the soft sketchbook, but that doesn't really bother me. So I mean, I feel like that happens with every clip. I care more that it doesn't dent here. So these are cute, they're cheap, and I haven't had one break on me yet, and I've been using them for like, I don't know, 3 or 4 years. Now, when it comes to paper sheets, one of my go-tos is Baohong watercolor paper. This is also 100% cotton. I'm sure it's not a surprise to hear that this is also cold press paper. This one's not open and I don't want to open it yet, but the paper, the texture of their cold press is on the rougher side slash a little more textured than some of the others, and I like using them for landscapes a lot. I have a few blocks of them like these, which is really nice to work on when I'm doing a full scene that I don't want to have to tape down. So this one is one of my favorite for sheets. I know this next one is a go-to for many people, but another favorite of mine is arches. I probably used arches more than Baohong this year since that's what I had on hand in the sizes that I needed at the time. I think that its popularity is well deserved. It handles the layering really well. I think it's slightly more textured than the Etchr sketchbooks, which again are Fabriano Artistico paper, but it's less textured than the Baohong cold press. And it's just really lovely to work on. I have big sheets of it right now, so I don't have like a little pack that I can show you, but you know, I like it enough to invest in larger sheets of it. Last but not least is bee paper. This is a brand new pack as well because I literally just finished the pack that I had and had been working on for the last year or so. I like to have some of this around for more quick practice pieces or art challenge doodles and more sketchy pieces. It is 100% cotton, but only 200 GSM, so it's on the thinner side, and it's cheaper than a lot of other cotton paper, so you get the benefit of the cotton paper still, but at a cheaper price. However, because it's thinner, it can't quite handle the water as well, so this is on bee paper. It's from Peachtober, which just ended a little bit ago. And you can see that the texture of it is on the smoother side. I would say that this one is probably the smoothest out of the ones that I have shown so far. And again, it is definitely thinner than the other papers, but it still works very nicely and I do enjoy using it. But if you are going to do a piece that involves more water and more layering, you definitely got to tape it down for this one. This one, because of how smooth it is, works really well with the ink pen, and I also like them for making cards. Next, let's talk brushes. For urban sketching, the Princeton Neptune size 8 round has been my go-to for a while. This works well for the size I tend to work in while out and about, even now that I use the larger sketchbook. I do have a larger travel brush if I really need one, but most often I am using this brush for the entire painting. It has a nice point, It has a nice level of snap to it. This is a synthetic brush, and it holds like a fine amount of water. It also lasts a good amount of time. I got this one in 2022. I've been using it for the majority of my urban sketching ever since, and still looks and works great. When you're done painting with it, you close it up, it's nice and neat, and it has a little hole on the end so that it doesn't get moldy if it's still a little damp when you put it away. And yeah. In the studio, my go-to brushes are definitely these silver black velvet ones. I invested in these four in 2021 after seeing them like everywhere, and I totally get why people love them. They come to a really nice point. They hold a ton of water, and these ones are still going strong almost 5 years later despite a ton of brush mileage. These are the ones that I reach for the most in the majority of my paintings, and I have painted a lot over the last like almost 5 years. I use these for basically everything, and I take care of them, but I'm also probably not the gentlest with them, and they're still working wonderfully. They are pretty soft, so if you like a snappier brush, they might not be for you. The other important thing to note is that these are a mix of synthetic and natural hair, so if you're trying to stay vegan with your art materials, these are definitely not. Pencils are a very short category consisting of two things: Blackwing Pearl pencils and the Blackwing pencil extender. I don't do a ton of sketching. Mostly I only use these pencils for a quick sketch before painting. I bought a pack of these in 2023, and this is still my first pencil, or what's left of it. I basically only use this pencil for sketching. I refuse to lose it. For me, it's a great sketching pencil. It's a good level of softness without being too dark or too hard to use underneath a watercolor painting. As in, like, I can do my sketch and erase what I need to, and it's fine. Since these are definitely pricier pencils, I'm determined to use every last bit of each one, which is why a couple months ago I acknowledged that I needed this pencil extender. Since Blackwings do have this distinctive eraser shape, you do have to buy their specific pencil extender, which is annoying because it's also expensive, but I have it now. I like it. It's a nice, like, there's sort of a nice weight to it, which is interesting. You do have to sacrifice your eraser to use the extender. This is what will be my next pencil once I finally finish this one. Each pencil has this eraser that can pop out, and you can refill it if you want, but if you want to use the extender, you do have to it would go in this spot. I'm usually using a different eraser anyway, so not having this one doesn't bother me, but I do like their erasers. Next, we have ink pens, which is also a small category. Remember, these are only the things that I love and use all the time. Most often, I do an ink pen drawing before I go in with watercolor. The pen I am always using for this is this Jinhao ink pen with an extra fine nib, which is around like 0.38 millimeters. I originally bought this because I was looking for an inexpensive way to try out an ink pen, and I have not looked back since. I can't compare it to a more expensive option because I have not tried any, but I really like the way this writes. You get a nice fine line. I haven't had any issues with the actual pen construction, despite the fact that a pack of 5 of them costs $10. They do come with a converter inside, so they don't come with ink, and you use your own, which is actually exactly what I wanted because I fill mine with ink that I can use with watercolor. So this is the ink that I use. It's Noodler's ink in black. Once this is dry, it does not reactivate with water, which is great for me because, again, I do my ink layer and then I go back in once it's dried and do the watercolor. So these two together have been great for me. I've had no issues with them. The ink has not, like I haven't had issues with the ink clogging in my pens, which can happen sometimes with ink that doesn't reactivate with water because I think it's a little thicker. And I've refilled mine a ton of times at this point, and I definitely have like at least this much of the bottle of ink left, so this is definitely a favorite of mine. Next is another new addition from this year. This is my Walkstool. I do a lot of urban sketching, and this has been an amazing addition to my urban sketching kit because when you're out and about, sometimes the composition that catches your eye is nowhere near a place to sit. So this is technically a camping chair. It folds up really nicely in this little carrying case. You can sort of see it. I'll show it extended as well. So it folds up nice and small in a way that makes it really easy to carry, and you can just plop it down and draw wherever you want. It's light, but it's sturdy, and this one came recommended to me by several awesome urban sketchers that I met this year who gave me their thoughts on the ones that they used, and a bunch of people let me try theirs out before I bought it, which was nice of them. So this one, I have been loving it so far. Another thing that I love in my urban sketching kit is this collapsible cup. It's inexpensive, it's light. Like I just showed before, it folds up to basically nothing. You can adjust the height of the cup itself to whatever you want. It's so easy to fit into a small kit. It does come with this lid. I don't usually use it, but it's here. I've been using this for a while now. It's my favorite water holder that I've tried so far with my urban sketching kit, and I would definitely recommend. And yeah, that is really it for my favorites. I do have one honorable mention. These are Neocolor IIs, a very popular supply that was new to me this year. This is the first time I've tried them. They are only an honorable mention at the moment because I have not used them enough to really have a good sense of how I like to use them and how they fit into my art process yet. So I can't really tell you the things that I love about them. You know, I mean, they're water soluble crayons basically, and they are fun to use so far. So I do enjoy them. I'm mentioning them here because I like them at the moment, but they're not a favorite yet because I don't find myself reaching for them over and over and over again. Maybe I'll get there as I tend to know them more and try them out with more things, but for now I would say that these are an honorable mention. All right, so that's it for my absolute go-tos of the year. I'll link them all below in case you're interested in checking any of them out. And now that you know my faves, I'd love to hear what yours are, or if you have anything you would recommend to me based on what I tend to go for. I love to hear it. Different art processes and preferences mean that everyone has different needs from their supplies, and I'd love to hear what's been working or not working for you and yours. I will also leave my current studio palette choices and my full travel kit walkthrough linked below as well in case you are interested in hearing more about any of those. If you enjoyed the video, please don't forget to leave a like and consider subscribing if you want to see more from me, as it really helps out the channel. I hope you have a wonderful end of the year, and I will see you in the next one.